Hey folks, I am somewhere in the middle of the United States on a piece of water that I can only describe as prairie marsh. It's shallow. It actually was farmland, but they gave up on keeping up with the drainage ditches, keeping them. You know, it's actually right next to a big river over there. And they just let it fill in, and the Nature Conservancy actually owns this property. It's over 3,000 acres, and it's a it's a wildlife management area at this point. A lot of cool-looking sand cranes and other birds around, but I've come here to catch, I think, some largemouth we can get into, and maybe northern pike. Who knows? It's middle August. It's hot. And I made the mistake of waiting until 11:30 to come out here. I kind of had to switch over from something that was totally polar opposite, fishing up on Lake Erie in 55 feet of water to catch deep walleye, to, I don't know how deep this is, but prairie marsh. It's shallow, it's hot. Let's go find some fish. Before we do that, I'm gonna go over the fact that I'm taking the inflatable. I'm taking this rig. I'll be scooting around in the ultralight 1103 with a 915 watt-hour battery. Got all my bass gear. Let's go over a couple things that I'm going to start out throwing. I've done really well with the billy goats on a 4 or 5/0 extra wide gap grip pin hook. I did tie on a topwater bait. It's a whopper plopper. I think it's a 110 in a perch color. I got a Z-Man Zinkers there, and of course I got a jackhammer in gold with the razor shads. And then for getting into these, and I can see some pads right there. Hopefully we get into a lot more of that. You know, the chin locks hook with a larger Houdini diesel minnow. These are my 5 rods I'll take out there. Let's go explore. All right, we've got our first interesting thing. I think it's an old channel right through the middle of this. Maybe it was a drainage channel when they were farming this area. We're gonna go ahead and take the Torpedo and turn right back around. You can see that most of the water all the way around is like 3.5, 4.5 foot, but right here in the middle, that channel's something that needs to be marked. We're gonna just move in here as we get close. I'm ready to drop a waypoint on each edge. Pick up our speed a little bit more. And you can see it coming in on the side imaging. And as soon as it drops, mark. The other edge, marking it. Okay, we'll exit out of that, and what that gives us is a frame of reference. We'll zigzag this whole thing and have lots of those either side of the channel markers, so that we're out here in the middle. I'm looking at my graph. I can see where the channel is, because you can see from the whole chart, there's nothing out here. Like, it's not even marked blue. So I got to create my own map, and I'll do that. And it starts with dropping some waypoints on whatever that is, because I think there's gonna be fish on the edge of it. I went up through here, marked channel edges in like 10 different places, heading up through here. Once I got up here, it kind of dissipated. It widened out, and there wasn't a really crisp channel edge, but these all mark a good crisp channel edge. And I'm gonna put the jackhammer on the bottom and just rip it and drop it through there, just slowly moving through. See what we pick up. All I'm doing is tracing that channel. Oh my God, that was a huge fish that just hit something on the surface up there. They're in here. I'm just tracing the all those little points where I marked the channel edge, and I'm not really reeling it in. I'm in a way trolling, but I'm moving along, just pulling it forward and then letting it drop. Pulling it forward, letting it drop. And that way, you know, I know that I'm staying somewhere near that channel edge right back behind me. It's just a real effective way to trace a contour or a grass line. You could do it with anything linear, you know. Trolling is effective, and you know, people think of the jackhammer as something you just cast, and troll with it too. But I'm trolling with letting it drop every couple seconds. It's swimming up in the surface or up in the water column, and then I let it drop down. And that keeps it near the bottom, which isn't real deep here. 3.5 to, I think the deepest I saw was 5.5 in that channel. Yeah, you audition baits, and then at some point you just go back to what you know, like your confidence baits, and a black jig is mine. So, little guy, throwing near that brush that I found. There are better fish out here though. So the examples of brush out here are exceedingly rare, and I just pulled a fish off of, well, he was next to one. And I don't really know that I need it to be a brush jig. I'm gonna go with the same profile in a jackhammer. Same palmetto bugs skirt here, and same black blue profile. Same scent, but it'll have that added benefit of announcing itself with that blade coming through the water. So I'm gonna try and work this the edge of this ditch. So hopefully by the time we get to the pads, we get a little more depth than what I got. This is not even a paddle length deep here as we're approaching. Might be enough to hold them. So these are lotus blooms, and a lot of them have already dropped their blossoms, but there's a lot of yellow still out there. It's real pretty. I think there's got to be fish in this, even though it's relatively shallow. These pads are have so much shade underneath them. There's got to be some hot spots back here. I am thinking about a change though already. This top water, this billy goats, does really well in clear water because it's subtle. But I'm thinking that, you know, these fish are gonna track something that's a little bit more obnoxious, like a buzzbait, a little bit better. We'll see. I'll give it a go for a little bit. Sometimes subtle is better, but in this muddier water, I don't know that it is. Let's dive in and find out. Oh yeah, finally. That has taken a long time to figure something out. And ooh, they're jumping behind me too. All right, I'm gonna let this guy go, and then we're gonna talk about what is happening, what pattern I just figured out. This one, I actually had 2 hit on the black jackhammer, and I missed them, and let's wet this. But I knew at least when I missed him, I'm at least I'm onto something. That's an 18-inch fish. So we will get him back in, and I'm gonna show you that the first thing I found here really just played out, but in a totally different way than what I thought was gonna happen. First thing I'm going to point out is we have storms off in the distance, and you can tell by all of these lotus leaves that the wind is blowing in the direction of the storm, and it's coming across these little ridges, these little the edge of the channel, and we're going to look down one, but that's one that's sort of out of the water. And what happens is you have you know, 1.5 feet or less of water, and then it drops off very crisply. And that's when they used whatever, you know, bulldozers or whatever, when this was farmland, to dig out the, you know, the drainage area. So we're going to go down there. I'm going to show you. You can actually look down this lane, but it drops off from like less than a foot to like 5 feet. And those fish in that drop off are sitting there with the wind blowing stuff over the surface, and they're looking right up in there. I actually saw 2 of them with their backs out of the water up on that little ridge. So I'm excited to have something going, but let's take a closer look down that way. You can still see the remnants of that drainage ditch very clearly on the shallow lower end of this body of water. Let's go take a look. Hello, there we go. Oh. What happened? I'm having trouble with my reel, so I'm gonna hand line the last little bit of this sucker, and that's a good fish. There are some good ones in here. I don't know what happened with my reel, but we're gonna measure this guy out. So 18 was the last one, and this guy is 19, nope, 18 3/4. So 2 really beautiful largemouth here in the middle of all those pads, but they like that drop off a lot better. I'm gonna take a quick pick and then let them go. So I'm going to show this rig real quick. The last one I got chewed up the palmetto bugs, which is rare for a Laztec. But I'm going to do this quick because I have the storm behind me is what's causing all this wind, and it's actually moving away from me, so I don't have long for this pattern to hold up. So the palmetto bugs on the black and blue 3/8 ounce Z-Man jackhammer, jam it on there, get it past that little hook keeper, and I do separate these 2 little guys, and it creates a nice big profile to lots of floppy appendages. It just speaks to the ladder line with the jackhammer clicking away, and all those appendages flopping around. It's a nice target with a soft end here and a sharp point there. All right, let's keep getting them on that drop off while we can. It's worth filming. They never really show up as vibrant on video as they do when you see them. But it's still nice to look at. Alright, well, trolling the channel with the DT10 hasn't produced anything, so it's getting late in the day and I gotta be off at sunset. I'm gonna make a run to the section that I haven't really seen yet, the upper end, and I guess just throw the jackhammer around for the last hour. Okay, found some wood, found a little bit deeper And found this largemouth, if I can get my thumb in his mouth. There he is. Nice. Alright, just exploring more of it. A lot of good fish in this area. Oh, I will let you go. You gotta calm down a minute. Alright, wet the board. Stick him there. Yep, another right at 18 inches. Very cool. We'll go ahead and get him back in. So, nice fish. See you guys. So this is the little ditch that led out to where I got that 18, and everything seems like everything out here is at a right angle. It's funny, I left Chicago yesterday evening and just started heading south, and all of the streets are at right angles to each other, even as you leave the city. And it's like these ditches are running the same way. It's a grid. They drain it in grid, and it makes it really easy to predict where an intersection is going to be between the the one that you've marked with your depth finder and then the one that you see coming off, which in this case was this one. And I got it right at the junction with the shoreline. Oh, this was just random casting on the way up. Just, totally moving at 4.5 miles an hour and just random casting in 2.7 feet of water. Oh, someone just turned on that. There might be a channel there. I gotta get that motor up. Paddle through this. Oof. 4-inch deep water. Oh, it's less than 4. A little bit of nothing. It's getting deeper. Oh, they're fishing those sticks. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's the biggest yet. Man, so many good fish in here. So many good fish. Look at that. Now, I say biggest yet. He's 18.5 though. It's a good fish. Good fish. Good job. One more on this side. Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's off. All right, I am pushing my luck. You can see the sun has almost set, and I have, I don't know, 1.5 miles to go. Time to drop the hammer on this, get back there, and get out of this park before sunset. I can make it. Probably not. It's been a fun day.